tell you a story of one of Nigeria's boldest legends, Isaac Jasper Adaka Boro. Isaac was born on September 10, 1938, in Oloibri, a town in what is known as Obia local government area of Bayelsa State, in the heart of Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta. Remember the word, oil-rich. His father, Pepple Boro, a respected school headmaster from Kayama, also present-day Bayelsa State, was a man of discipline and learning. His father was transferred from one school, as they do headmasters, teachers and all that, from one school to another. Young Isaac moved with the family, definitely. A journey that shaped his perspective and sharpened his resilience, because they moved from Oloibri to Port Harcourt to Kayama to Warri, So he was moving through the Niger Delta at that age, and he saw what was going on. From an early age, Isaac stood out. He was brilliant in school, earning his first school leaving certificate with distinction. In 1957, at Hussey College, Warri, he aced the West African School Certificate Examination, achieving the best result in the entire college that year. After high school, Boro taught for a little while, and then in 1961 he joined the Nigerian police force. But education still called on him. In 1964, thanks to a scholarship from the Eastern Regional Government, he went to study chemistry at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN. So at UNN, Boro didn't just attend classes. He made waves. He ran for the Students' Union government presidency. And after 2 failed attempts, he finally won in the 1964-65 session. That victory was his first major step into leadership, and it earned him wide recognition. Isaac was no ordinary student. Of course he wasn't. His courage and boldness earned him the nickname Adaka, meaning lion. He was a firebrand. He once took the federal government to court, challenging the validity of the 1964 general elections. On campus, he introduced student transportation services, something the university had never seen before. But Boro's fire wasn't limited to campus politics alone, no. In 1965, he left UNN, moved to Lagos, where he co-founded a political movement. That movement was called WXYZ, alongside Samuel and Nottingham. Their mission? To fight for the Ijaw people's control over their own oil wealth. Remember, they were being exploited without any real benefits. And Boro was ready to fight. And fight he did. But at that time, Nigeria was in chaos. The country had just experienced its first military coup. Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa had been overthrown and unalived. Major General Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi rose to power. Boro was not impressed. He believed the coup undermined Nigeria's federal structure, violating the agreements made by the founding fathers. It was in this atmosphere of political instability that Boro made his most daring move. On February 23, 1966, at just 27 years, Isaac declared the Niger Delta independent from Nigeria, proclaiming the creation of the Niger Delta Republic. To defend this dream, he created the Niger Delta Volunteer Force, that's the NDVF, a militia of about 150 trained men trained secretly behind his father's compound in Kayama. In a speech to his people, Boro said, and I quote, he said, "Remember your 70-year-old grandmother who still farms before she eats. Remember your poverty-stricken people. Remember too your petroleum, which is being pumped out daily from your veins. And then fight for your freedom." Boro's guerrilla campaign against the Nigerian government began. For 12 days, a small but determined force battled the Nigerian army. His key allies Samuel Owunoro, Nottingham Dick, George Amangala, and others fought fearlessly. But eventually, the federal forces, the mighty federal forces, under General Aguiyi-Ironsi and then Eastern Region Governor Chukwuemeka Ojukwu, overpowered them and arrested them. Side note, Ojukwu himself will go on to declare Biafra a year later, that's in 1967, proving that Boro was ahead of his time in challenging the Nigerian state. Isaac Boro was captured and convicted for treason. He and his allies were to be unalived by hanging, but he never wavered. He was not scared. He famously said, and I quote, "There is nothing wrong with Nigeria but the lack of mercy in our activities," end of quote. In a surprise turn, the Gowon administration granted Boro amnesty in May 1967. Not only that, he was commissioned as a major in the Nigerian army, joining the 3rd Commando Division led by Colonel Benjamin Adekunle. Boro now commanded a unit of 1,000 fighters from Rivers State, and many of them familiar with the creeks, the mangroves, and the swamps in the Delta. Their unit, known as the Sea School Boys, helped reclaim towns like Opobo, Andoni, Obodo, Oranga, Buguma, and more. They were crucial in early victories of the Nigerian side in the Civil War. But Isaac Boro's journey ended too soon. In 1968, at the age of 29, Boro was unalived under mysterious circumstances near Okrika. Official reports indicate that he died in combat, but many believe he was assassinated. His death is still debated, with some speculating about political tensions, internal military power struggles as potential causes. In his memoir, the 5th and 12th Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo wrote that Isaac Boro was unalived by a retreating rebel soldier during a private visit. For me, that story for the gods. Some believe that Boro was unalived by his own division, that's the 3rd Marine Commando Division led by Colonel Benjamin Adekunle, so he won't be able to continue with his fight, for a sovereign state, having declared an independent Niger Delta before the Civil War. In 2013, his remains were exhumed from the Ikoyi Cemetery in Lagos and reburied with honor at the Joe Heroes Park in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. His legacy lives on. He inspired a whole generation to speak up for the oppressed, to fight for resource control, to challenge injustice no matter the odds. The Ijaw people continue to call for his recognition as a national hero. a symbol of bravery, justice, and self-determination. Isaac Boro was a visionary. He was a revolutionary. He was a patriot whose fight for justice for the Niger Delta laid the foundation for the conversations and reactions we are still having today about equity, inclusion, and justice in Nigeria. So the next time someone talks about Nigeria's heroes, remember the lion of the Niger Delta, the man who dared to roar. Died at 29, immortal in spirit. Today his name still echoes in the Niger Delta activism story, still very relevant. He roared for justice, and we still hear him. Major Isaac Jasper Adaka Boro, the lion of the Niger Delta, the first to say enough is enough. If you've never heard his name before, now you have. Share your story, tag someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to follow me for more short stories about the legends of the Niger Delta. My name is Bodi Judith Roberts. You can call me the narrator or the storyteller. Thanks for listening to my story.